And you thought picking the right cruise was the hardest part. Let's see, I just got off the phone with American Airlines for the fourth time today, trying to square away some flight issues. Uh, I'm here jotting notes about some last minute things that I need to purchase, including evaluating whether pre-buying the drink package is worth it. And I am checking in online because we are getting ready to take off for, get this, 4 cruises on 4 different cruise lines in 4 weeks. So I thought this was a perfect time to share with you the 7 strategies that I use for successful cruise planning, and hopefully it will help you in planning your long-awaited dream cruise. And the first strategy is, and I do think that this is the most important one, is don't stress out when things don't go perfectly, because after all of this cruising that we've done, I guarantee you something will go wrong and not according to plan. It might be your flight gets delayed or even canceled. And by the way, in strategy number 3, I will talk about how to sort of buffer yourself against that. Or it could be maybe you don't like the dining room table they set you up with. Pro tip, you can always ask them to change it. Or even the cruise ship can change itineraries at the last minute. That can be bad. You should ask my daughter about that when she was on her cruise ship for her wedding and they changed the port at the last minute. Yes, I actually got the phone call in tears. Mom, I'm gonna miss my wedding. Well, guess what? It turned out it was all fine and she had a beautiful wedding. Those types of unexpected problems often make the best stories and the best memories. So if you learn nothing else from this video, it is roll with the punches. It might actually make it better. Now, the second strategy, I'm actually assuming if you have found this video on planning for that cruise, is that you've actually already purchased your cruise. However, if you haven't, please take the time to research which cruise is best for you. We did a video up here of picking the right cruise line for you. If you don't see the link up there, I will put it in the description box below. But a lot goes into picking the right cruise to make sure you actually love the cruise that you paid your hard-earned money for. So in a nutshell, every cruise line is different and people have different things that are important to them. So the first thing you need to do is make certain you understand what is important to you. Is it the food? Is it the ship? Is it the itinerary? Whatever it is, really jot down what's going to be important for you. Is it the weather? That's another thing you got to look at. And then do some research, including that video we put out, and you will be able to pick a great cruise for you. Now, Paul and I have been traveling full time for the last 2 years, and cruising is a huge part of it. And we also spend about a third of the year in our RV, and then the other third of the year traveling all around the world on planes, trains, and automobiles. So if retirement travel is something that interests you, I do invite you to subscribe and hit that notification bell, and that way you'll get alerted every time a new video comes out. And let's go on to strategy number 3, your cruise day travel. Now, this is something that a lot of people sort of throw together at the last minute and don't put a lot of thought into. We started off that way. Trust me, we have learned some things along the way to make it so much better. And that is, we treat our travel day as part of our vacation. A lot of people look at it as super stressful and, oh my God, on our flight, and what are we gonna do? And go to the hotel and you check in late at night. With some planning, that day's part of your vacation, so don't waste it. Now, the number one thing I can tell you is please, please, please get to your cruise port city the day before your cruise. We have heard so many horror stories about flights delayed, flights canceled, and this is what I'm talking about when I said I could help you buffer that. Please just make sure you get to your cruise port city a day ahead. That way, if your flight's delayed, if it's canceled, you're still going to make your cruise. There's just too much at risk by not doing it that way. So we always fly in a day in advance. And by the way, I do have an exception to my rule, but I had no choice. Like I said, we're doing 4 cruises on 4 different cruise lines in the next 4 weeks. Well, guess what? One of them, we get off the ship in Miami and we get on a ship in New York the very same day. So yeah, I hope that one goes okay. And I hope you're following along because of course we will document that. But when I say make your travel day part of your vacation, I mean it. Try to plan it so your flight is early enough that you're relaxed, you don't have to worry about it. If you go to lounges, you can spend some time in the lounges. Once you get to your hotel, you have time for a nice leisurely meal. You can get a good night's sleep. You can wake up and then get on your cruise ship. And that allows you to get on your cruise ship much earlier. So in addition to that day before your cruise, having it as one of your vacation days, also, you will be able to board your ship earlier and really take in all that ship has to offer right from the get-go. So really treat that travel day as part of your vacation. Now, the next strategy is hotels. So if you took my advice and got there the night before, you are going to need a hotel. And we sort of look at this in two different ways. There's the super efficient budget kind right by the airport. You check in, maybe your flight is getting in a little later. You go to an airport hotel, they have a shuttle, and then in the morning you can either Uber or take a shuttle to your cruise ship terminal. Or if you're really going to treat it like a vacation day, you might want to splurge and go for a higher end hotel if you're getting into the city early enough in the day. And that way you can check in and truly feel like you're on vacation, explore the beach or explore some beautiful restaurants, and then maybe have a lovely cocktail before you go to bed, and you are already in vacation mode. Now, there are two things that I think are important to evaluate when you're picking your hotel. The first is, do they have shuttles to and from where you want to go? And this is kind of a plus minus situation, because almost always if you're staying near the airport, then they will have an airport shuttle, and that works out really well. Then many of them also have a shuttle to get to the cruise port terminal. Super nice, convenient, but man, are they crowded, and people have all this luggage, and I'm going to talk about packing a little bit later. It feels a little bit like a cattle call. So you kind of have to make a decision on that. Are you going to splurge a little more and truly feel like you are on vacation? Or is it really more utilitarian than that, and then your vacation really starts the minute you step on the cruise? It's your call, but that is the way that we evaluate it. And we do both for sure. It just kind of depends on how much time we're going to have, and are we going to be able to enjoy the more luxury style of hotel. So we definitely do it both ways. One thing we do make sure is whatever hotel we stay in, we want to make sure it includes breakfast. So if it's a luxury hotel, you get this fabulous, huge buffet with glorious food. Or if it's a more budget hotel, they still have pretty darn good free included hot breakfast. So we always want to make sure we are able to get a little bit of food before we get on the ship, because sometimes getting on the ship can take longer than you expect. So don't overlook breakfast on the day you're going to be getting on the ship. Okay, strategy number 5, apps. Yes, the cruise line's going to have apps. The airlines are going to have apps. Your rental car is going to have apps. The hotels have apps. Really, at this point in travel, they are pretty essential. So please download all of the apps you might need. And that also includes entertainment apps. If you're going to watch something on Netflix before or on the ship or on the airline, download that too, and download some content. But you want to make sure you download the apps, and you want to make sure you get yourself all signed in, all your passwords are in, so it's just a piece of cake. What I do is I put them all in one folder on my phone called Travel Folder. It's super easy. I can get my airline boarding pass in no time at all. Same thing with the cruise line boarding pass. Now, I will say this, they all recommend doing your apps, and we do with our apps almost all the time. However, it's not a horrible idea to also have a printed copy of your boarding pass. You might never need it, but man, if for some reason you can't get your cell service or your hands are full, whatever, you just have that boarding pass in hand, it does make check-in a little bit easier. The other thing that I recommend, in addition to downloading the apps, long before that, you should be on their websites looking at the various things that cruise ships have to offer. You should check in online as soon as you can. So usually that's 30 days in advance. When you do that, then you're going to be able to sign up for anything that you might want to pre-purchase. You can sign up for your dining time. I highly recommend you do that immediately, as soon as you can online. Also, you can sign up for the pre-purchase packages like the drink package. And I told you earlier, I was evaluating whether it's worth it or not. Often they do a heavy discount on the drink package only online several days before your cruise. So do check that out if that's something that's interesting to you. And the other thing is you can do your security check-in. You take your security photo. Every single thing you could do in advance to make check-on day easier, you should do. Another thing is you can also watch the safety video, which is now required by most cruise lines. It just saves you a little bit of time. So there are many, many reasons that you should download the apps in advance. This also goes for if you use airport lounges, Priority Pass, make sure you've got your current Priority Pass card uploaded into the phone. Often there's long lines there. You want to be able to just scan and go. So check the website way in advance so you can make reservations for the shows and your dining and all that kind of stuff. Have the apps in place before you go, and your cruise travels will be so much more pleasant. Now, strategy number 6 is all about packing. To be clear, I am coming out with a new video of actually the physical, like the clothes and everything that I use, packing cubes, all that kind of stuff. I'm coming out with that in a little bit. This is more about sort of big picture concepts about packing. And by big, I mean little. We tend to pack light. And again, we are now going for a month on cruise ships straight, and we are taking one roller bag and one backpack. Now, I know we are the exception to the rule, but there are reasons we do it this way. The first reason is we don't want to be lugging huge, heavy bags everywhere we go. We want our stuff with us. We can avoid airline luggage fees. We don't have to wait at baggage claims. Sometimes that can take an extra hour. So we always make sure we have this stuff with us. I do bring little laundry papers where if I need to, I can do laundry, especially my workout clothes, in the sink with the laundry detergent, and it works out great. If we need to do laundry either on the ship, okay, that's expensive, so we really try not to do it that way. Sometimes on our transition day, we'll run to a laundromat and do laundry. There's just no reason to pack a whole bunch of stuff because here is the truth. Nobody really cares or will even notice if you wear the same pair of pants twice on a cruise ship. Now, I do know a lot of people like to bring a whole bunch of shoes and stuff like that to go with their outfits, but I am telling you, it is just not worth lugging around all the heavy stuff. The other thing that we do to save on packaging is there are some things that we buy at the cruise port city. Really the two things that come to mind, sunscreen, we always have to bring sunscreen. The little tiny travel size ones are just so expensive. We wait until we get to, Tampa or Orlando, or wherever we're going out of, and we just go buy it at a drugstore nearby. It's much, much cheaper, and then we can have a full bottle for the two of us. The other thing that we buy at the port, if we don't buy the drink package, is most cruise lines allow you to bring on 2 bottles of wine. And so we will just, even at the drugstore, grab those 2 bottles of wine and bring them on. I do recommend you look at your particular cruise to make sure you can bring on the wine. Like I said, most of the big ones allow you to do it, but some don't, and they are actually shifting to where they don't let you do it, so do double check that. But as it stands right now, those are the things we buy so we don't have to pack them in our luggage, and we can bring carry-on luggage everywhere we go. Now, the last reason we like to do this is we bring our luggage right on the cruise ship. We've got our super light, easy roller bag, we've got our backpack, and we don't have to check it through. And you know what that means? We're not waiting for our clothes and our luggage and for our luggage to get lost. Happened to my sister. She checked hers through. The little tag got ripped off. She did not get her suitcase till like 10 o'clock at night, and she had to chase it down 3 times. Meanwhile, Paul and I are sitting there with all of our stuff neatly packed away. So there are a lot of reasons we pack the way we do. I would highly consider it. I know it's difficult for a lot of people, but consider whether you really can get by with a backpack and a roller bag. It saves a ton of time. Now, the other thing about packing is your electronics. Some people bring a ton, some people just want to unplug. Totally your call. But whatever you're going to bring, I highly recommend a few things. Number one, you charge everything before you go. You also bring some sort of backup battery brick just in case you need it. You can minimize the charging cords you bring. We actually bring a multi-charger, plugs right into the wall, and we can charge up to 4 devices with it. I will say cruise lines are getting a little bit more strict about the types of charging blocks that you can bring on. So again, check with each cruise line. We bring a small one that has 3 ports. So far, it has not been a problem. We don't expect it to be a problem, but they do change the rules all the time. It is a huge space saver, and our electronics charge much more quickly. And also, cruise ships in your stateroom, they have very limited outlets. So this sort of allows you to do a whole bunch. I will say, do not bring a strip with all the various plugs. That's not going to fly. They will keep it and give it to you at the end of the cruise. And the last thing about packing that I would recommend, this is really if you don't take everything on yourself. Do pack a little day pack, maybe with a swimsuit, a t-shirt, a pair of jeans, change of clothes, change of underwear, just in case your luggage does get lost. That way, again, right when you get on the cruise, you can start your vacation. You have everything you need. Bring a Kindle if you read that, and your vacation will start the second your feet hit the ship. And the last strategy that I want to talk to you about is about shore excursions, because many people invest a lot of money in them, and there are a few different ways to go about it. First, like I said earlier, do look online as soon as you're able to check in at the shore excursions and see what types of things interest you. Now, you can either book excursions with the cruise line or independent of the cruise line outside of it. The ones with the cruise line are going to be a little bit more expensive, and the ones outside of it will probably save you some money. There are pros and cons to both of them. The biggest pro to doing it with the cruise ship is if there's a problem, if there's one of those changes in itineraries like I talked to you about, you're not going to lose any money. They're going to reschedule you. You won't even have to think about it. Easy peasy. Like I said, they are more expensive. Now, if you book the ones that are outside of the cruise line, you are putting yourself at risk because if there's a change in itinerary, they don't care. They're not going to give you your money back. Ask my daughter, who got her whole wedding changed, which she did beautifully and successfully, by the way. But you are on your own if the cruise ship changes the itinerary or there's a weather delay or something like that. You're not going to get your money back from the cruise ship. So keep that in mind. The other thing to keep in mind is most of these excursions that are group excursions are very crowded. So you are going to be in a big bus with a ton of people, and you're just going to be kind of like one of the herd. That's fine if you just want to kind of look around. Now, typically, Paul and I don't do any type of scheduled excursion because, number one, we are very physically active. Our health is super important to us, and we want to get out and move and do things as much as we can. So if we're stuck in a big crowd, we can't really do that. Most of the time, what we do, and I thank Paul so much because he always coordinates this, we do our own independent research on what is interesting and what is within walking distance, or I guess at Paul's speed, it's more like slow jogging distance, but what's interesting to see. So we can get out, we can hike. We're usually doing maybe 10 miles, 12 miles a day on the port days. We get our exercise, and we also get to see some off the beaten path things that otherwise most people don't get to see. That's the way we handle visiting ports when we are there. Now, if there's something super specific that we really must see as a tourist, we will go ahead and schedule the excursion, and usually we do that with the cruise ship. So there you have it. That is how to have a stress-free, enjoyable cruise that you have been planning for and waiting for. You cannot wait to get on the cruise ship. So the first thing, what's the most important thing? That is, do not stress when things go wrong, because they probably will at some point. Do make sure you pick the right cruise for you. Do your very best to make your travel day part of your vacation. It really does change the whole entire tone of the vacation. Put some thought into what hotel you're going to pick. Make sure you get those apps downloaded and working properly. Challenge yourself to pack in a roller bag and a backpack. I promise you, you will not regret it. And then also spend some time on your excursions, because that's a lot of what cruising is about. So there you have it. If there was something in that video you liked, please give it a thumbs up. And thank you for joining me on The Freedom Strategy, where Paul and I are unlocking retirement by exploring the world. I'll see you next time.